Hi, my name is Alex Bond, and this is my MATLAB project on projectile motion. So we'll start by using the help command, and you get a description up here of what the function does. You input certain variables like an initial angle, initial x, an initial starting point for the x-axis, an initial starting point for the y-axis, and an initial velocity, and it'll generate a horizontal range, maximum height of path, and maximum height in a trajectory plot. So here are two different ways you can put in the function. You can use a time increment if you want, or you can do it without one. And here's a description of the variables, what they are, and their ranges. Basic calculations and constants. G is negative 9.81, radian conversion, initial velocity in the x and y direction, and the formulas for the x and y. And here's an example of how to put it in with a description of what each variable does. And here's another example without the time increment. So let's put one in. So we'll do 55 for the angle, 5 for the initial velocity, 0 for the initial x, and 50 for the initial y. And it plots a figure that shows you the trajectory of the projectile. And if you look over here, you've got the maximum height, the coordinates of the maximum height, and the range. So I also put it in so that if you also programmed it so that if you put an angle over 90, it'll give you an error saying that the angle needs to be less than 90. Or if you put in a negative value here, the angle has to be more than 0. So we'll try it again with the time increment, and we'll do 40, change some of the other variables, 40 for the angle, 8 for the initial velocity, 4 for the initial x value, 20 for the initial y value, and 0.05 for the time increment. Okay, and it shows you another plot of that trajectory so that you can compare these two if you want. Let's see, I also made a GUI for this. If you type it in and hit enter, it'll pop up. And so now you have buttons that you can put in the values and launch data that way. So it's got some initial things set, and let's change the initial y to 20, and we'll just leave the initial x. You hit launch, and it shows you a trajectory of the path starting at 20 for the y, 0 for the x, and going down there. And you can still see the maximum height and variables here if you want. And we can change this. We do a different one here. It'll launch that and change the graph so that it fits both of them well. And the cool thing here is you have a clear data button, so you can put these in, and then when you want to get rid of them, you just hit clear and they'll go away. So you can have as many as you want that you want to compare until you want to get rid of them. Alright, so that's my project. Thanks.